Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is the All Facts Podcast. This is your host, yourself. Feeling good this morning. Feeling good this morning. It is March 3rd, 2024. Oh man, we going through some things with Diddy. They're in the process of destroying my boy. Wow, it's crazy. There's all the allegations with him and Meek Mill, and how he's, I knew this was all gonna happen when they did all these things with Cassie. Man, this is just crazy. But this is what I'm talking about mental programming. Today's podcast this is part 3 of MK Ultra. I thought I'd bring up the Diddy thing, because the propaganda that they have is MK Ultra. It is another project that they have. They declassified MK Ultra way back in, I believe it was 1973, if I'm not mistaken. But they declassified that when it was happening. People had no idea what was going on. So what makes you guys think that something is not going on now? What makes you guys think that? This is a program. We had, the 80s and 90s with the hip hop program. Before that was the rock and roll program. They called it Satanic Panic. Before that, we were dealing with MK Ultra, Project Bluebird, Project Artichoke. We was dealing with all of these things, all of these atrocities that the CIA was doing on unwitting participants and us as United States citizens. As far as the back in the days with the 60s and the Flower Child movement, and all the rock stars on drugs, and the hippie movement and all of that was propagated by the CIA. We are being controlled, people. We are being controlled. This is not a conspiracy theory. And I don't want to base my podcast on conspiracy theories. I want to have receipts and proof for everything that I'm saying. I want this podcast to be exactly what it is, all facts and nothing but. And like I said, this gay agenda that we have at this point is out of control. Like, who would have ever thought that Meek Mill would be gay? I remember when Eminem came out gay, supposedly, and nobody cared. Recently, not Meek Mill, but Drake came out gay recently with the pics and everything. He basically came out gay, but I was confused on whether it was some type of internet prank or what it was, but they were insinuating that he was gay. I mean, we think we all seen him with the nail polish and all the little antics that he was doing. So he came out gay. You got Playboy Cardi wearing thongs. You got all these. I saw Mos Def not too long ago with the dress and the boots on. Like, if you guys don't see that this is an agenda, then I don't know what else to tell you. Why would they be doing a gay agenda on black people? Because of population control. They're trying to keep our numbers down. I mean, this is obvious. They've been trying to keep our numbers down, keep us in prisons. And if you guys don't think they have a project in prison, then you got a whole nother thing coming. Once you become a prisoner, you become a part of that. It's just like being committed to a psychiatric institution. Once you're committed, you are part of that. What do you think Thorazine is? Thorazine is a tranquilizer. Before this, we were talking about witchcraft and sorcery and magic. This is witchcraft and sorcery. Witchcraft is domination, intimidation, and this is what this is. This is what this is. This is domination and intimidation. This is control. Power is control, and that is witchcraft. Now, when you use other things to help to manipulate a person, then that is sorcery. And that's what they're doing. They're using electrotherapy. They're using psychic driving. They're using sleep deprivation, isolation. They're using, I always forget the acronym, but satanic ritual abuse. They're splitting the personality, and they're creating Manchurian candidates. I'm gonna show you here today that psychic driving is what the music industry is. Let me get my notes out here. Okay, so first of all, today's broadcast is brought to you by my crowning success, which will be a crowning success, just like this podcast. I'm claiming that into existence. I know that, I serve the Most High, and this is my ministry. This is my ministry. He's brought this to me. I got ways to know, when the Most High speaks to you, you don't hear voices. It's your thought. And if you continue to have a relationship with the Most High, then you start to understand the difference between your thoughts and God and what God is giving you. You start to see when Satan is putting thoughts in your mind, when it's torment. You start to understand these things, and if you pay attention, miracles happen every day. There are signs and wonders every day, but we don't pay attention to them. We live in such a digital age, and where miracles are created. Satan, his job is to mimic what the Most High does. I mean, look at what he does with with all these cameras everywhere. This is him trying to copy God's omnipotence, God's all-knowingness. He's trying to copy these things. He wants to be worshipped. He wants to ascend to the heights of the Most High. This is when you see Paramount and you see the stars going around the mountain. These are fallen angels trying to bring forth what Lucifer's ideal was, is to ascend to the mounts. He will be like the Most High. But today's podcast, like I said, is brought to you by my crowning success. I diverted off of the commercial. This is a commercial, but I'm propagating myself. This is self-royalty. I love this product. I absolutely love this product. Myself and my family have been using this product for the last 2 years. I just branded it and put it on the market. I'm still under, it's still under construction. It's still coming out. I'm still bringing it forth. But self-royalty is a beautiful, beautiful all over body oil. You come out like this so you can see the label. This is the label behind me. The oil contains rose geranium, dark patchouli, French lavender, Egyptian frankincense, and neem oil. It also has hemp seed oil as a middle carrier. As a base oil, it has first cold pressed olive oil. I combine all of these things together, and it becomes an all over body oil. It is antifungal and antibacterial. This is the reason why you can put it on and it will deodorize your body, because bacteria and fungus do not like neem oil. I'm not exactly sure how it kills it and what it does to the bacteria and to the fungus, but it actually works. Maybe I'll do a podcast on neem oil on its own. These oils are fascinating. This is not just something that you put in your oil thing, for aromatherapy. This is not just for that. This actually passes the blood-brain barrier of the skin and actually enters your bloodstream. That when it enters your bloodstream, it goes into your brain. And it actually, this is what makes it make you memorable. When you put this oil on, people will remember you. And this is just the first one. Self royalty is the first one. I got a lot of different combinations that I could use. There are so many different essential oils that I could use that it's hard to count. But I love this one. I love the scent because it is unisex, it is floral, and it is earthy at the same time. So that's what makes it unisex. The frankincense it's very earthy, but it is feminine and masculine at the same time. This is the reason why they use frankincense and myrrh in the Bible. The patchouli is also a flowery scent, but it's also very earthy. The geranium brings it to the top. The geranium is, I think everybody knows what a geranium is. A geranium is a rose. So it is very floral. So you bring all of these things together, and the scent is unisex. It is memorable. It has lavender oil in it because of the healing properties that are in lavender. Lavender is great for scars. It's great for acne. It's great for dermatitis. This is great for your feet. Like I said, the neem oil is antifungal and antibacterial. So if you have problems with nail fungus, if you have problems with athlete's foot, for the most part, your feet, you have to keep your feet dry at all times. But a lot of people have, their feet sweat, just like some people's palms sweat. And if you have that problem, this is great for that. Another thing that happens is because your feet sweat, your feet get very dry. They get what black folks call ashy. But I'm sure this happens to white folks too, and this happens to everybody. But this oil traps all of the moisture onto your feet. It's not oily at all. It's not oily at all, people. I know my face looks a little bit shiny. That's because of the lighting. I have no oil on at this point. I just got out the shower. I'm freshly showered. I have no lotion or no oil on at all. And because I use the oil all the time, my body stays moist. I haven't dealt with dry skin in I don't know how long. I don't even know what dry skin is anymore. I haven't been using deodorant because the neem oil is a natural deodorant. This oil is a natural deodorant. Like I said, I can't say enough about this product. I love this product. But let's get on with the show. Today's show is the third part of MK Ultra. And MK Ultra was psychological warfare. What happened was the POWs got sent back from Korea and from Vietnam. And when they got sent back totally different than they were. Some of them couldn't even speak English anymore. So what ended up happening, they found out how they were doing this. It was Chinese and Soviet influence of the mind. They were using LSD and mushrooms and other drugs to induce this, along with electroshock therapy. Well, to make a long story a little shorter, the United States was totally paranoid about this. They knew what type of power it would be if the Soviets can control their population's mind and control other people's mind. They also knew about chemical warfare, and although we had the Geneva Convention, these people still do chemical warfare. There's a lot of war crimes that America and other countries do that goes against the Geneva Convention. They have these things, I believe, to just make us feel safer than what we really are. We're really not safe at all. So I went to this video here. This video here is on part 2. We were doing a little bit of research on this is a pretty good podcast, and it gives a brief history of MK Ultra. I was reacting on this video because I like to have receipts. I know and understand all of this stuff, and I can explain it to you step by step, but I like to have receipts. So I'm going to get into briefly what this video is entailing. First of all, MK Ultra, it involves psychic driving. Okay, psychic driving is the use of drugs and endless repetitive recorded messages. What they do is they psychic driving is what they do after they erase your mind. All right, what this entails is brainwashing. All right, now brainwashing is exactly what it is. It is actually wiping the slate clean of the ego and the memories. The ego is who you believe you are. I am yourself, okay? But I'm also Thomas Tolles, okay? So my family named me Thomas Tolles, and I identify with that in its memories. Yourself is a character that I've created that I believe I am at this point in my life, okay? These are all based on memories. These are all based on the ideal. This is what the ego is, okay? So what they do is they wipe your mind clean, okay? They wipe your mind totally clean. This process is called depatterning, okay? It involves very long. What they do is they put you in insulin coma, okay? This insulin coma can last from 30 to 60 days. I think they've actually had people sleep for 3 months. Now, while you're asleep, multiple times a day, they give you electroshock therapy while you're asleep. Did you hear what I just said? They give you electroshock therapy while you're asleep. Now, it's been already shown that deep sleep and electroshock can actually fry the brain. It actually cooks the brain the same way you cook meat. This is a fact. Okay, that's why I said in the last podcast that 8 out of 10 of the people that they do this to are permanently damaged, and half of those people that make it actually die. It actually kills them. If it doesn't kill you physically and you go into the grave, it kills you mentally and you are a total vegetable. In Total Recall, when they said you'll be lobotomized, this is what they were talking about. I mean, a lobotomy, I can go into that. I'm not going to get into that, and it'll make this too long. Okay, but lobotomizing you is basically another way of wiping the mind clean. So they use depatterning, electroshock therapy. Then they use the psychic driving that I said to build you back up in the way they want you to build you up. So they bring you back down just like a child. Okay, these people actually have to be taught to use the bathroom again. They have to be potty trained again as grown adults. They forget their whole family. They forget everything that is them. They're back to being a newborn baby again. So after they do that, they use psychic driving. So we'll say while they're asleep, they put something in your mind, but these people are sadistic, and they'll put in your mind over and over, thousands and thousands of times, over and over while you sleep. You killed your mother. You're a murderer. You killed your mother. Over and over, over and over, over and over. Psychic driving is part of hip hop in the music. You hear a song over and over and you become that. This how they're making, they made our transition. When I came up in the 80s, if you were gay, and it was definitely homosexuality back then. I mean, I could do maybe at one point I'll do a hip hop podcast on the history of hip hop. I'll go all the way back to Africa Bambaataa. I'll go all the way back to Kool Herc and all the way back that, and I'll do an in-depth. I can do an in-depth history thing on that also. But it was definitely homosexuality back then. But the difference between now and then is then it was totally shameful for a man to be a homosexual. Totally shameful. It was an outlawed thing for a black man to be a homosexual. And now it's totally out. I saw the new line of Prada this morning I was looking at. And, they have men's dresses. You can't tell the difference on the runway between the man and the woman. They have men's makeup. They have men's dresses, men's pocketbooks. And you got to ask yourself, why do they want this? Why? What is so important about the man being the woman and the woman being a man? It's power. That's what it is. And it's also satanic sorcery. It is the control of people's minds. And I'm trying to let you people know how they're exactly doing this. Why is it that black folks smoke Newports and white people smoke Marlboros? Why? It's because they're patterning us. Racism is a program. It's a program. I mean, why would a person be racist? A person would be racist. Like, I tell everybody all the time. I'm gonna digress from this for 1 second. I tell everybody all the time. My goal as my people is to be a racist. I know that sounds crazy to most of you guys. I know it sounds crazy because of the emotional tie that you have to the word racism. But let's think about the system and the people that are racist and why they are. Okay, why would you be a conservative of racism? Because it keeps you in power. It keeps you dominant. It keeps you on the top. Now, what is racism? Racism is a system based in prejudice. Okay, now we can all be prejudiced. Black folks can be prejudiced. We can't be racist. We don't have the power to be racist. Okay, we'll say this. There are a bunch of prejudiced people all together, right? We all don't like black folks. We all agree that we should be on top of black folks. So I don't like black folks. I'm a cop. I arrest a black man or a black woman, right? I send him to jail. The COs in jail are racist. I don't like black people. Now, this doesn't have to do with color. Now, this could go across the board. This is everybody that doesn't like black people, everybody that are prejudiced against black people. Okay? I send you to the COs, they're prejudiced. They send you to the court, they're prejudiced. Your sentencing is based on prejudice. When I get hurt in prison, I go to the infirmary. The doctor is prejudiced. All right, now I'm saying prejudice because I'm saying that we all don't like black people. That system that connects all of those prejudiced people together is racism. Now this is the reason why I said me and my people, I aspire to be racist. Because if that was the case, then that would mean we would have economic power and we would have a structure of infrastructure that would support our prejudice, and we would be able to hit back. So if something happened to one of our people, we would say, okay, this stops, or we're not going to do this. I mean, look at what the Jews do with anti-Semitism. If you say anything against them, they'll totally cancel you. They have the power to be able to do this. They have the power. you can say all you want about black folks. You can say anything you want, and there's not going to be any repercussion to it, because we have no power at all. So I digressed off of the subject for a second, but I think it has to do with MK Ultra, because MK Ultra is a system devised to keep these people in power. This is about power, people. This is about power. And I'm also gonna go into how it goes back to Satanism, because it is magic and it is sorcery. Now, I'm gonna get into the video just a little bit. You know, I said before, I'm not gonna do too much with these videos because of copyright. But this is a very good video. I gotta start writing the names down to these videos so I can give these people a shout out for their great work. These are hard to do. It takes a lot of work, and I do not want to steal these people's stuff. Let's go.
1950s and 60s, the height of MK Ultra. She explains that her mother was under the care of none other than Ewan Cameron. By this time, Cameron was head of the American Psychiatric Association. He had been a friend of Alan Dulles, who, if you remember, is the man responsible for the genesis of MK Ultra. In fact, they shared a long history together, dating back to the Nuremberg trials. In
Now, I want you people to understand, you know, with these Nuremberg trials, and you know, I don't like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. Now I don't want to glaze over this stuff, but all of this stuff is important. You got to understand, these people are people of power. These people are what you know as the Masons and the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergs. These are these people. These are the people that are on top. These are the people that are trying to control the population. These are the 5%.
1977, after President Ford's executive order, under the release of the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, Cameron was discovered to have conducted the most extreme mind control trials, employing massive amounts of shock treatments and drugs such as PCP and LSD. You may be wondering, did Cameron's extreme methods lead to the cure of cancer or Alzheimer's or anything? Well, according to journalist Sid Taylor, in an article from 1992, Cameron used a toxin known as Curare in order to debilitate his patients while conducting research. This toxin was used by South American natives to poison their hunting arrows. When applied to the body, it shuts down the neuromuscular system. The article continues by saying, although the patient was prepared by both prolonged sensory isolation, repeated depatterning, and recorded receiving 101 days of psychic driving,
you see what I was saying? I mean, look at how intense this is. Look at, if you just look at how intense this whole thing is. 101 days of psychic driving. I told you guys what psychic driving is. Let's go back over that one more time. It's the use of drugs in endless, repetitive, recorded messages for 101 days, over and over and over and over. And this is outside of depatterning, when they actually put you to sleep for 60 days, 30 days, 30, 60, up to 90 days. They have you sleep and giving you electroshock therapy so it erases your mind, and then they put this in your mind. You guys don't think this works? Sensory isolation.
Favorable results were obtained. So as you can guess, this was around the time Dr. Cameron fashioned his own invasive forms of therapy, explained before as depatterning and psychic driving. Much of this information has only been disclosed relatively recently, since the CIA has admitted to funding human behavior control research at 150 institutions, including 44 universities and a variety of hospitals, prisons, and drug rehab clinics. Remember.
Okay. Didn't I say that this is a part of the prison population? When you go to prison, when you have a drug problem, what do they and you get caught with drugs in jail, and then they make you plea out to a drug program? You don't think this is part of it? You don't think this is part of patterning human behavior, and you don't think they're still doing this to people? like I said to you guys, like, what makes you believe that your reality is real? What makes you think that all of this is real? You go to a woman nowadays and you ask her for her number. You say, you know, she's beautiful and you would like to get to know her a little better. She says, you got some money? This wasn't always like this. What happened? Then you see a Sexy Red video and you just, you dance to it like it's nothing. I watched Foxy Brown when she was in the birthing pose. That was an iconic picture, but that was an African birthing pose. That's how you're supposed to have a baby. You guys been duped. You're not supposed to have a child on your back. This is what makes all these problems with labor. This is what causes the umbilical cord to wrap around the child's throat. This is what causes, all of these labor pains. And then you're wondering why you're screaming and begging them for an epidural. Because you're having a child wrong. Because you've been programmed. You've been duped. All you women out there, did you breastfeed? Did you breastfeed? Did you even have time to breastfeed? With your maternity leave, you had to get back to work. You're gonna use the pump and all the rest of that. You think the child, you're still putting latex in the child's mouth instead of your nipple, and then you're wondering why he's not gonna latch onto you. Are you eating properly? Are you having proper sex rituals? You're not supposed to have sex while you're breastfeeding. I don't know if you guys know that. But there are a lot of different things that you don't know because you're a pattern. You're watching commercials every day, ads every single day. You don't think this is part of psychic driving? Let's move on.
These are just the ones declassified. In 1953, while attending a CIA retreat, a scientist working for the agency drank a cocktail that had been spiked with LSD. His name was Frank Olson. A few days later, on November 28, 1953, Olson allegedly committed suicide by falling from the window of a New York City hotel room. 41 years after his death, in 1994, Frank Olson's family decided to have a second autopsy performed. A forensics team discovered injuries on the body that were most likely caused before the fall. Following lengthy legal proceedings, Olson's family was awarded a $750,000 settlement and a personal apology from President Gerald Ford and the then CIA director William Colby. And the person named for administering the LSD to Frank Olson was none other than Sidney Gottlieb. By this...
Okay. Now, I think this is all I'm going to do. Now, let me go back for one quick second. Frank Olson, right? This man's name is Frank Olson. Okay. Let me do a real quick. Let me tell you real quick about who Frank Olson is. Okay, Frank Olson. The reason why if you do any of this research yourself and you go to YouTube yourself, it's extremely limited on. You'll start to see that all the information starts to become repetitive. But Frank Olson will come up in almost every one. Now, Frank Olson was killed by the CIA. Okay, it was after 20 years. They declassified the information. They said that he committed suicide, and later on they're gonna say that it was actually called a perfect murder. Now, Frank Olson was murdered because he was his nickname was the Black Sorceress. Now this gets back into the esoteric point in MK Ultra and mind control. We're tying all of this stuff in. Like I said, we talked about witchcraft, we talked about sorcery, we talked about magic, and we brought that up into MK Ultra. And I'm trying to explain to you how this is magic, this is sorcery, right? This man his nickname was the Black Sorceress. What he did was he did biological warfare. He was a master at it. And they were actually doing the biological warfare on United States citizens. They were using anthrax amongst a lot of other stuff. And what was happening was the residents in the villages and the things that they were doing these things on, they were getting all kind of cancers. They was getting all type of diseases. And it was getting really bad. Now you got to remember, these are war crimes. Okay. So what ended up happening, this man ended up getting a conscience. All right. He ended up getting a conscience, and he asked he wanted to do something else. He started to tell his family, oh, I made a big mistake. You know, he started feeling remorseful for the things that he was doing. And he asked to resign. He wanted to do something else with his life. Obviously, at that point, he became a target. At that point, he became an enemy, because they obviously don't want this stuff to get out. So what they did was they laced his drink. They started having drinks, and they laced one of his drinks with LSD. And they did a psychic profile of him while he was under LSD that he didn't know. They kind of reversed everything that he did, and they did it on him. And he ended up basically confessing that he would tell, or whatever he would do. Like they knew, put it this way, they knew that he was compromised. They knew that he was a problem. So they got him in this hotel room. They smashed him in his head with something, knocked him out of that window. He hit the ground and died. They have phone calls that that proved this whole thing. When they exhumed his body after 20 years, he had no glass shards or anything. And on top of everything, he fell on his back. So he jumped backwards through a shaded window, through the glass, not having any glass on him. So just think about this. He jumped backwards through a window to his death. Does that sound plausible? It wasn't. They called it the perfect murder. They murdered this man because of the war crimes that he had, and that the atrocities that he was doing on American citizens. They called him the Black Sorceress. I can't make this up, people. I can't make this up. Now, they also use trauma-based mind control. Trauma-based mind control is based on using extreme trauma, including fear, torture, sleep deprivation, isolation, and sexual deviancies, so to speak. I don't want to use I don't want to be too vulgar on YouTube. I want children to be able to watch this. I try not to curse. I try to keep this open. I want children to be able to watch this. But they use all kind of sexual deviant sexual things, including animal sex, including all type of rape. It's terrible. It's actually terrible. I don't even know if I can say that word. But they use all kind of sexual things, and they do this to create extreme trauma in the mind. So the mind splits and becomes multiple personalities. They wipe your ego clean. They wipe your memories clean, and they build you back up to be what they want, whether it be an assassin, whether it be a message carrier, whether it may be, you create some type of a disturbance somewhere, say it's the Million Man March and we need somebody to create some level of disturbance. We might be able to say a word to you and you might just start going crazy. It could be anything. They can use you for anything at this point. Now, on top of this, the trauma-based mind control is what they do to adults, okay? And it is satanic. It is a satanic ritual, people. This is a satanic ritual. I told you, witchcraft arouses the Leviathan. The Leviathan is the one that gives the power for sorcery. It's the Leviathan. Okay? The Leviathan is a principality that is a fallen angel. It's not a demon. The demons are the Nephilim. They are the children of the fallen angels. Okay? The fallen angels reside in an abode above the earth. They are in the air. They are above the firmament of the earth. They're above the moon, the stars. They're above what we believe is a galaxy, but it's really a firmament that God has created. Okay? It is not what you think it is. So, and the demons are the Nephilim. They're the children of these fallen angels that they had with human beings. Hell is within the earth or below the earth. What is in the middle of the earth? A liquid core, right? It's lava, it's heat. What do they call it? The lake of fire, right? This is what it is. So this is satanic. Now, the satanic ritual abuse is what they do to the children. We're not going to get too much into that. I'm going to my next thing is going to be about satanic ritual abuse. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it because it is extremely sensitive. Satanic ritual abuse happens to children who have been given away by their parents. Satanists are required to abuse their their children. They are required. If they can't do that, then they have to give their children to someone who can. This is what satanic ritual abuse is. I'm not going to get into all the abuses. And I think this is a good place to end the podcast at this point. Like I said, it's been a pleasure doing this podcast. I only went over the surface of MK Ultra. I really did. I only went over the surface of MK Ultra. And the reason why I did this podcast on MK Ultra is because I want you guys to understand that we are being controlled. Our reality is not real. Okay? You have to get into the Most High so he can renew your mind. You have to be delivered from these demons that they have put into your life. Please comment down below if you want to get into my prayer coven. Please comment down below if you're interested in my self-royalty product. It will really help me to bring this ministry full circle. Come on, people, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm here for you. God has placed me here to touch someone. This is what I'm here for. I'm not afraid anymore. $sign Tahuti. Please donate. That's the Cash App. Please like, share, and subscribe. It gets it out. It will help my podcast to grow. Okay? So everybody here, I want you guys to have a blessed day. I want you guys to, I want the best for everyone. I want everybody's mind to be renewed. If you're going through any problems, please turn to the Most High. My Most High is Yahweh. I believe that Jesus died for my sins. I believe it. I was raised with his name being Jesus. I know his name is Yahshua. When I pray, I pray to the almighty name of Jesus and the precious name of Yahshua, or the precious name of Yahshua and the almighty name of Jesus Christ. Because this is what delivers you from these demons. Remember that. Y'all have a good day. Shalom. Peace out.